And we have baseball back for the first time on the Twinbill podcast, presented by NyynewsTV. Alex Guyevich Protich, your host, alongside Luca. And we got a fun podcast ahead of us. Obviously, these things are going to be longer now, more exciting now that we have baseball back. We got a lot of topics to talk about. We're going to complain about the Yankees. I know that's going to be a prominent part of this podcast. Not that we try to do it intentionally, but listen, to this point, they've made one trade, and that's their offseason. Unless you want to count Tim LeCastro. But, Luca, with that being said, how are you doing? Go into it.
I'm glad baseball's back, but the Yankees aren't. So we're all going to get into that.
All right. So, obviously, baseball's back. Already went over that. And one thing I find interesting, we're going to go out of chronological order here, is that they're trying in the MLB offices, even though they said that they were going to cancel it out, they're trying to bring back that ghost runner rule.
Yeah, I was about to bring that up. I am not a fan. Like, why would you eliminate it, and then why would you bring it back? Like, what's
because there's a CBA in place now. There's a CBA in place now. And also, I want to get your thoughts on this and just your overall reaction to it as well. I'm going to ask you first. What was your reaction? Where were you when baseball struck a labor deal?
When baseball struck the labor deal, I think it was officially, I was in persuasion class. Our good friend Brian was like, we're this close to getting baseball back. Now we had to watch a movie for persuasion class, which had, I thought it was going to be a film, like one of those documentaries or whatever, or some shit like that. But it ended up being a Disney movie for some reason. So the movie pertains to our midterm project, but that's not the point. So I really didn't check my phone or my laptop during persuasion class because I was right in front of the professor, so I wasn't going to pull any stupid shit. So I checked my phone afterwards. A-okay, baseball is back.
I remember I was home. It was on a Thursday, so it'd be a day after this premieres. It'd be a week. I was home. My first class was film class, but I was home. I forget what time it struck around, but talks were intensifying, and then they come out with this Mets bombshell. A couple of players are unhappy with the CBT numbers. I'm like, here we fucking go again. It's gotta be the Mets that ruin something.
Yes.
It's gotta be the Mets, right? So everybody's pissed about that, and then we get to the voting.
Can I interrupt you for a second?
Sure, go ahead.
One thing that our friend says about the Jets, he said, you know what he says once I say this. You can take the players off the Mets, but you can't take the Mets off the players.
You can take the Mets out of the players, which makes a total ton of sense. But anyway, in terms of, the chronological events, in terms of that day, I remember they started voting. The executive board voted 8-0 to say no deal. Garrett Cole, Jason Castro, Francisco Lindor, Max Scherzer. I'm like, oh my God, you got to be serious. You have to be serious. And a lot of people on Twitter, and I know this is pretty much a dead duck topic, but a lot of people on Twitter, there's no leadership issues with the Players Association. It's all the owners, right? Well, the players, the ones that, what was that, 38 of them. The final vote was 26-12. So you can't tell me there wasn't a leadership issue. But with that being said, we got baseball back. I remember the specific moment. I was watching Pete's live, and this is not, Pete tells us what to do. I was actually watching his live video. And then somebody puts in the chat one of the tweets, and Pete screams out, "We have a deal." So what I did was I started screaming, "We have a deal. Baseball is back. My window's open. I don't give two shits." And then 3 times I play New York, New York. No reason for 3 times, but I just feel like, yeah, you know what? Baseball's back. Let me go out. Let me celebrate. I was happy about it. And then, of course, I was driving, my mom back from work. And, sometimes I'll tune into them, not necessarily for, oh, my God, I'm going to listen to their takes because they're God. But with that being said, I was listening to Carter and Roberts, and then Roberts is like, "Oh well, I'm gonna miss the DH. No, excuse me, I'm gonna miss the pitcher hitting in the National League." I'm like, you know what, dude, just stop. We have baseball back, and then they started doing their scripted banter or their banter just to get views. That's what I call it. But
it's all blah
overall,
blah 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 blah.
Overall fun day. And let's get into some of the real topics with the Yankees right now. Let's start with one, and then we'll go into the big trade. Tim LeCastro, obviously, give your thoughts on it, and I want you to give your thoughts on, is Brett Gardner coming back in your opinion, and do you want him to come back?
Well, first of all, it's kind of odd to see that the Yankees kind of signed Tim LeCastro. I think he got like a season-ending injury last season.
He did.
So it's quite the risk. So it's kind of like depth, but not depth at the same time. Now, do the Yankees re-sign Brett Gardner? I have this inside feeling that they will. He really doesn't deserve a role in this team. He's past his prime. He's way past his prime. So it would just kind of be worthless to sign him. But I know the Yankees have that weird desire inside to sign him.
I just, in ways, obviously bring up the point about LeCastro. Why not just call up Florial? Why not just have him in the big leagues as the depth outfielder? I mean, I understand they probably want to prop him in a starting role. Then again, they're so, obsessed with Aaron Hicks. It's not even funny. And they have Joey Gallo. And then obviously, Boone came out and said that thing today. Oh, we're going to put Judge in center field, and we're going to put, Joey Gallo's not going to play center field. Why? Why is he not going to play? Why is Joey Gallo not going to play center field?
Well, let me correct you. He said Judge will play center field sometimes, but Joey Gallo sometimes will not.
I just don't understand that. We've brought it up so many times. Gallo has the range to be a center fielder. He's not injury prone. He's very good defensively. He's speedy, as you just mentioned. Why is Judge in center field? That'd be like putting Giancarlo Stanton in center field, only a few years younger. And then, obviously, there's that thing that he said that pisses me off, but it's to no surprise. Oh, Giancarlo's going to play, a couple of times in the outfield during the season.
He said he's going to play the outfield a decent amount. You should be I'm not saying you should be an everyday outfielder, but you should get out there most of the time. Like, are the B reporters asking this guy any questions of why they're handling it this way? Look, if anybody looks at the numbers last year, I haven't, but I've been hearing this so many times that I have to repeat it. He produced well and better when he was playing the outfield. He produced better offensively when he was in the outfield, in the lineup.
And I hate this crap. I ranted on this a few months ago during a live game. I said, why are they playing him for 6 innings? You play him or you don't. Enough of this scare tactics. And even with that, our friend brought it up on the live stream. It was July 30th, 2 days from August, and they didn't have him prepped. And it's not like you had the COVID season where, spring training, and now we're going to play in July. No, that's not what happened. They did not prepare him at all. And I don't know that they'll do this in spring training. They'll probably do the same shit over again. But they probably won't play Stan at all in the outfield in spring training. And then they'll move, we're going to start playing him and set him up, in the outfield sometimes in July. Like basically when the season is heading into the playoff chase and the Yankees are in third place in their own division. And we'll talk about that.
Yeah, that's the problem I had with the Yankees last year. It's not even just the Stan part. Like Torres as well. They started playing him at second base.
When it didn't matter. It was the end of September.
It's these late-ass adjustments.
They play, at least going back to last year, maybe this will change this year. I don't think it will. They play like they're 10 games up in the division. And then, later on the season, we have to make adjustments. Like, what's the point? I mean, they were this close to missing the playoffs. Now, the problem is that they have the expanded playoffs overall coming this year. Now, it is 12 teams. It's better than 14 teams. It's better than 14 teams with a 1-0 record. I mean, Max Scherzer was the genius. Yeah, was a genius with that one. And everybody's, kumbaya, we're going to praise Max Scherzer for that. Bullshit. Get the fuck out of here with that. But it's 12 teams. It's not 10 teams anymore. So the Yankees could slide into the playoffs. And I'm going to be real here. I'm going to be real. This was before the Donaldson trade. We'll talk about that in a couple of minutes. But I had the Yankees in fourth place, and I didn't have them. I did not have them making the playoffs. Now,
no, I don't either. I mean, I think what was it? Was it schedule? It's not schedule predictors. It's playoff predictors. You can predict the schedule for the Yankees or any other baseball team. You can predict the records and stuff. Now, obviously, this is kind of hard to do. You can't really plan out every game because every game is also unpredictable. But, I could get a good idea of where a team is going to be when it comes to their roster. Are they going to be between 90 wins, 86 wins, whatever. But I got to agree with you, Alex. They're a fourth-place team right now, even with the Donaldson trade. We're about to get into a sec.
Yeah, and I had the Astros making the playoffs. I had the Red Sox making the playoffs. I had the Blue Jays making the playoffs. I had the Rays making the playoffs. That's four teams, the Rangers. So I had 3 from the AL East, 1 from the Central, and 2 from the West. Because
you think the Rangers are going to make the playoffs?
It's either going to be the Rangers or the Mariners. The Mariners, honestly, I might change that because I think me and Sox, this is the Dead Red podcast on Big Blue in the Bronx. I don't mean to self-promote, but obviously Big Blue in the Bronx and Sox Arizona, those 2 channels are rotating, which is obviously Big Blue in the Bronx. It's my channel, and we rotate. But we're planning on doing a section of predictions before the season actually begins or on the day of opening day. But then again, it wouldn't make any sense. But, in a couple of weeks, we're redoing our predictions. So now that they've made a ton of trades, the Mariners are probably moving up. But at the same time, the Rangers also traded for Mitch Garver. And we'll get into the trades right now. But also, once again, going back on my point, why did you just bring up Florio? Why? I mean, what? That's a dead duck argument. They like their guy in Joey Gallo and Aaron Hicks, and although they like their outfielders the way they are, and it's not going to change with the Yankees. So, if you want to outline the biggest move the Yankees have made this offseason thus far.
All right, let's get into it. So, this was on what day, Alex?
I want to say Sunday.
All right, so around Sunday.
I may be wrong, though, but I think it was Sunday.
Might have been Sunday, might have been Monday. No, it wasn't Monday. Saturday or Sunday, Yankees traded catcher Gary Sanchez and third baseman Gio Urshela to the Minnesota Twins for Josh Donaldson, third baseman, shortstop Isaiah Connor-Falefa, and catcher Ben Rorvit. So, Alex, where were you, and what was your initial reaction to the trade? Obviously,
I remember telling you about the trade, and Pete texted in NyynewsTV pods. That's our group chat. He said Gary to the Twins. I'm like, what are you talking about? So I then see John Heyman's tweet, Gary Sanchez Twins. I start screaming. I start jumping up and down. I'm scaring everybody in the house and scaring my cats because I wanted Gary Sanchez gone. As long as he was a Yankee, I was going to root for him. I don't think anybody should root against somebody. I think that's stupid. Luka obviously has a history of that, but we're not going to get into that for so many reasons. Gary Sanchez, not a good defensive catcher, was very lazy, limited in some ways offensively. He was very streaky. He'd have 2 weeks, like last June, he had 2 weeks where he was good. Everybody's hyping the shit out of him, and then he would go back to the same old garbage. And I just couldn't get how the Yankees had the possible plan of going into the season with Gary Sanchez as their catcher, knowing that play-it-to-play happened. That arguably probably was the worst play in baseball last year. And I was mad. I will come out here and say, yeah, I was mad that they didn't get Stallings. I was mad that they tendered Gary, especially my first reaction, which obviously is on the Big Blue in the Bronx YouTube channel. But right now, we're just trying to state what I think, where I was, stuff like that. And then I see the rest of the trade, and I just start breaking it down into certain things. I'll get into that, but I want to hear your first reaction, like what happened there. And let the audience know, obviously.
Yeah, I was very happy that we traded Gary Sanchez. I was like, let's go. And then I just saw the trade details. I'm like, oh, my God, we got Josh Donaldson. I'm like, wow, this guy's an upgrade over Gio Urshela. So then I got some time to think about it. So overall, I thought this was like a kind of a table setter move. It's not like a move that, defines one off season, but it's a table setter. Like, this is going to be the move so another move can be made. So good job trading Gary Sanchez. Good luck to him in Minnesota. He deserves, in all honesty, despite, everybody could say, oh, we're Gary Sanchez haters, whatever. Good luck to him, Minnesota. Needs a smaller market, needs a fresh place to start off, a new tenure. Hopefully he gets better. Twins fans can only hope. Gio Urshela, good luck to him in Minnesota. What is this, his third, fourth team possibly? So he did well with the Yankees. Appreciate all he did. But trading for Donaldson, I thought first in my mind, as I said, immediate upgrade over Gio Urshela. Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, immediately I thought this would take us out of Correa, which we probably might be. So Kiner-Falefa would ideally play short. Now, obviously, we'll get into what the Yankees will do with Gleyber Torres, but the Yankees, I checked this on Spot Trek, Alex, are taking on 20 or 44 million combined in the next two seasons with Josh Donaldson, with a possible buyout coming in 2024. Now, that's a little bit concerning. Not really concerning, should I say, because the Yankees have obviously, they should expand their payroll, obviously, increase it. But I didn't think it was going to be done through by trading for a 36-year-old Josh Donaldson, taking on a contract like that. I thought we were going to do it by signing, a big ticket free agent. We have yet to sign Freeman. We have yet to sign Carlos Correa, if that's ever going to happen. So that's not the way I envisioned taking on somebody, increasing the payroll, but something else has to be done. Now, I don't know much about Ben Rortvedt. Kiner-Falefa as a contact hitter. He did not hit, I don't think, too well last season, but he is a contact hitter. He's also a Gold Glove defender, which I like, but the Yankees, I think, still should get Correa, in my opinion, even though that's kind of a little too far gone. I think Kiner-Falefa can play third, I believe, but Donald's, it would be kind of complicated. So here's my thoughts. If you do indeed sign Correa, here's what you do. You obviously, my plan would be trading Voit and Torres. Maybe you move Donaldson to designated hitter. You play Correa or Kiner-Falefa at third, or you can rotate, or you have either play shortstop. Kiner-Falefa is a Gold Glove shortstop, so is Correa, I think. But either one of them play third base. LeMahieu at second. You sign a free agent, Freddie Freeman at first, obviously because the A's traded away Matt Olson. The Braves will get into that too. Outfield will be Stanton, Gallo, and Judge, but Hicks is going to be that platoon guy, in my ideal opinion. So what are your thoughts?
Yeah, a little bit confusing with the Donaldson thing and how much money they're taking on. As you said, it's a table setter move, but it doesn't make sense without another move. And there's a lot of question marks because they traded for a catcher. And Ben Rortvedt, he's not great offensively, but, also as well, they're taking on a prospect. They're not taking on somebody, he's been in the league a couple of years. He has major league experience. He does this, he does this. This guy's played in the major leagues 1 year. That's what scares me about Rortvedt. And when you're trying to ideally imagine a team that's going for it all every single year, I don't know if you can realistically go out there and say, hey, listen, a former Twins top prospect is going to be our catcher. That's not necessarily ideal. Once again, he's good defensively, as we hear. Offensively, he needs to get better. And I just don't know if you could really go into the season with Rortvedt and Higashioka as your catchers, because that doesn't, once again, I hate restating my points as many times as I have. Yes, pitchers will want to throw to Rortvedt. He's a great framer. Offensively, though, if they don't make any other moves, it's not going to look as good as it should if a Freeman signs or any other moves that they make. And it's unfortunate that Seiya Suzuki, I think, went to the Padres, but listen, the Yankees are not looking for outfielders because Aaron Hicks is the almighty answer in center field.
You know, Alex, he did well in the Dominican League.
Yeah,
so that should
bullshit.
answer every question.
Octavio Dotel's still pitching in the Dominican League. I could pitch in the Dominican League. Maybe not, but you know what? You guys get the point. So, in terms of the Donaldson thing, I think you lose a little bit defensively. I think you'd have to agree. You lose a little bit defensively because Donaldson's 36. Giovanni Urshela, he has to be 30 at the most. And he's slim. He's slim in his body, so he can make those defensive plays. And he was a decent hitter offensively. He's not going to, hit for power. He's going to hit for contact. I think he hit like 259 or 260 or 271 last year. I don't know. But Urshela, solid hitter, contact hitter, very good defender. That's what you're losing at third base. And I'm not saying Donaldson's a poor defender. He used to make really good plays, but he's 36 years old and he's lost his touch a little bit. He does hit for power. He hit 247 last year. I think he had over 100 strikeouts, which bothers me just a little bit. But if you get a piece like Freeman, it just irons out the whole entire lineup. Because if you don't get Freeman, you're only, and this is the way I think, of course, your only guys that hit for average, that hit for actual power are Judge and Stanton. Because Gallo, he's going to strike out a shit ton this year. I don't think he's going to hit for average. Donaldson may do the same. He's 36 years old. So you're not going to count on, he's going to definitely get better. I don't know how much better is at 36 years old. And once again, as you mentioned, it's weird taking on $44 million plus an option for someone who's 36 years old through a trade, not spending that money in free agency. I feel like they could have upgraded elsewhere. And I don't give too much shits, maybe that's not proper English, about the Garrett Cole Donaldson stuff because as of right now, it's fine. Okay? That was last season. That's dead duck, dead water, whatever the hell you want to call it. It's a dead thing. Okay? Personally, don't care too much about that. Connor Falefa, there was a lot of options at shortstop. There still is Story out there. There's still Correa out there. I know Correa right now is in the middle of negotiations with the Houston Nationals to come back. That's a possibility. And Trevor Story, I don't know what his thing looks like. I don't know what teams are negotiating with him right now or what the market looks like for him. Or is he going to go to this team or that team? Maybe the Cardinals, if they're looking for a shortstop over DeYoung, or if DeYoung plays second base. I don't know. I'm not a Cardinals fan. I can't tell you. But Connor Falefa, I don't mean to knock him in any sort of way. I don't mean to knock him, but I feel like there was a lot of other options out there. 271 last year, 90 strikeouts, 28 walks. So as you mentioned, a contact hitter, 172 hits as well to add that in. Contact hitter. But at the same time, there were options out there. And the main point we're trying to stretch across this whole argument is there needs to be another move. If you really go into the season with third base, Donaldson, shortstop Connor Falefa, second base Torres, and first base LeMahieu, it just doesn't make too much sense. And we'll get into the Olsen thing in a minute. I want to ask you this as well. What the fuck are you going to do with Gleyber Torres? What are you going to do with Gleyber Torres? What are you going to do with Luke Voigt now that an Olsen trade is off the table? They've extended him in Atlanta for 8 years. I think it was $166 million or whatever it is. But what are you going to do with Gleyber Torres? What are you going to do with Luke Voigt? Even if they want to keep Gleyber Torres on the roster as the second baseman, move DJ to first, where are you trading Voigt? Where is that happening? Maybe you could trade him to a National League team that needs a DH, but maybe trade Gleyber Torres to the Reds for a starting pitcher. And if you want to really take on Joey Votto, because that's probably likely that they will give up. But I don't know. I guess at this point, Torres and Voigt maybe to Oakland for Sean Murphy and Sean Manaea. That's two Seans in one deal. I don't know. Give your thoughts on that.
Well, let me first say this is not the NBA where we take on massive salaries to get, draft picks. This is not we're not Leon Rose here and the New York Knicks, what they did last season. I'm sorry, I had to draw the comparison immediately. But we're going to get to Matt Olson obviously in a minute, but I don't like settling for Rizzo. You have to get Freeman. Absolutely. I like Kiner Falefa, but my opinion, I like your idea of trading for a starter on the Cincinnati Reds. Maybe get Joey Votto as an option. I don't know. But also, I think I'd trade Luke Voigt to the National League, maybe the Brewers, because maybe they need a DH.
Yeah, I agree with you there. And I feel like Nelson Cruz could have been an option, but he went to the Nationals, if I'm not mistaken. And Nelson Cruz is still good at his age, but also he was accused of PED, so his body might be aging a little bit slower. So let's get into a little bit of the first baseman thing in terms of what was the Matt Olson trade for Atlanta, the Freddie Freeman stuff, the Anthony Rizzo stuff, and then I guess to close it out, maybe we'll do whatever and discuss that one trade that Seattle made. Go ahead.
So Matt Olson was traded to the Atlanta Braves. Unfortunately, the Yankees hug on prospects. That's the sad part. We've all came to that reality. There's been multiple instances of this happening. Did it with Felix Hernandez because we didn't want to give up Jesus Montero. We did it with Cliff Lee because we didn't want to give up Eduardo Nunez. We didn't want to do it with Garrett Cole, even though he's here right now with Chance Adams. There might have been another one, not sure, but not the point. The Atlanta Braves traded for first baseman Matt Olson from the Oakland Athletics. The Braves traded off outfielder Christian Pash. He's the number 3 prospect on MLB Pipe he was the Braves' 3rd prospect on MLB Pipeline. Shea Langeliers, Braves' top prospect. Ryan Cusick, right-handed pitcher, number 6 best Braves prospect. And then right-handed pitcher Joey Estes, 14th best Braves prospect. So they did give up their top prospect because they know they want to win now.
Yeah. And if you look at that team last year, I'm not going to say it's a momentum team or all that. I think there were ways they got there. Fundamentally, they have a lot of good coaches on that staff. Look up for me what level Shea Langeliers is at. Maybe I'm pronouncing his name wrong. Look at what level he is, because there's a reason for that. And he was traded to Oakland, and obviously Sean Murphy is there, who's very good defensively. But if you look at our list of prospects and compare that, number 1, number 3, number 14, whatever.
He's in AAA.
Okay, so he's almost ready, just on the outside cusp of it. But number 3 on the Yankees list right now is Oswald Peraza. Personally, if you want my opinion, Luca, I don't know why Jason Dominguez is at 2. I'm not trying to fault him, but I feel like
he should
high
be
enough, booted lower.
Proven yet.
Right, he should be booted a little bit lower. Peraza should be up there a little bit. Gil, I guess they still consider a prospect. Clark Schmidt still considered a prospect. And then you have your other guys. But number 3 would be Oswald Peraza, which is a guy they're probably looking to not give up on. And that obviously impacts the future. Pretty obvious because, prospect.
Let me ask you this. With the A's trading for the Braves' top prospect in Langeliers, does this open the door for a Sean Murphy trade, and would you buy into it?
Well, how old is Sean Murphy is the question.
Sean Murphy, let me give you the correct math here. Sean Murphy's 27. He's actually from Peekskill.
So he's not that old.
No.
That's interesting. That's an interesting topic to bring on. You could trade Sean Murphy, but you're also risking. And I don't know how Langeliers is as a catcher. I'm going to keep butchering his name probably. But Sean Murphy's very good defensively. He's about an average hitter, but he's very good defensively, and that's really something the Yankees need. Yes, they got it. What?
You want to go gold glove this year.
Right. And the Yankees got Rordvet, but the thing is Murphy's more experienced. Rordvet played 39 games in 2021. And also, I believe Kiner Falefa is an emergency catcher, but with that being said, it was somebody else I heard about, but I think it was Kiner Falefa was an emergency catcher a couple of years ago, but they switched him infield. So in terms of the list, Anthony Volpe, Oswald Peraza, so that would already be too much for Cashman. Ryan Cusick, who's number 6, that would be Austin Wells. And then number 14 on the list would be Brendan Beck. I don't know too much about him. he was a second-round pick in 2021. So
That's pretty recent.
That's a pretty recent draft pick, and we just know by the top 2, you'd be giving up both your top prospects. And the thing is, okay, yes, they're both your top prospects. They're very close. But, how many shortstop prospects they have in the system? Trey Sweeney. Let me go through the list a little bit. Alexander Vargas. They have a couple other shortstops and infielders in the system. So, yes, those 2 could be good at the next level. That's what you're banking on. You're banking on them to be stars. But you also have some other shortstop prospects. I mean, I don't know. You were about to say something.
Again, you can only have one shortstop.
Right.
In the big leagues. So somebody's expendable.
Right. No, understandable there. So once again, before we go on to the Freeman subject and the first base subject, really, number 3, it would be Peraza. Number 1, it'd be Volpe. Number 6 would be, who did I just bring up? Austin Wells. And then Brendan Beck would be the next guy. So there is no way in hell that trade is happening realistically, because Cashman likes to prospect hug, and I don't think they would ask for the same amount. They wouldn't say, they wouldn't ask precisely, I want your 1, your 3, your 6, and your 14. They're not asking for that.
This isn't draft precisely.
This isn't draft picks. You're right. This is not the NFL. Anyway, let's get into the first base conversation. So right now, apparently, it seems to be that Freddie Freeman is down to the Yankees and the Dodgers, apparently, but there is a market for him outside of those 2 teams. It's just what it seems to be down to. And we're all discussing this post-Olsen trade. This is not, if Matt Olson was still available. No. Now, Anthony Rizzo, apparently, there's mutual interest between him and the Cubs for a reunion, which kind of was expected, at least in my eyes. I'm rooting for Anthony Rizzo to go back to Chicago. In New York, he was a decent player, disappointing to some, but with all the options out there...
Can I...
Go ahead.
So Barstool Hub said this. Anthony Rizzo is coming back to the Yankees, hearing 2 years for $32 million with an opt-out after year 1. Let me double-check this so you can keep talking.
But my point with that is, and once again, we're speaking in a sense that's not like the Yankees, because the Yankees are very out of touch. And if this is the move of the offseason with the Kiner, Falefa, and Donaldson, I think you're a 3rd-place team, not a 4th-place team, and that's not much better,
you got
obviously.
Better by 1 place, yep.
Yeah, better by 1
place team.
Because that's what we root for every year. And I got all spoiled on Twitter the other day. I was in a buddy of mine's thread, and he was like, he's been a 90-win manager. You guys expect him to win 90 games every season, and you guys think he's irrelevant because he hasn't made the World Series. I'm like, what is the Yankees mantra again? Right. World Series championships and deep playoff runs, competitive teams every year. Since 2020, really, also 2018, they have not touched that mantra. They haven't even sniffed that. Wild card elimination, ALDS elimination, and then 2018 ALDS elimination. So I don't know how you could defend that personally. Maybe some people are just homers and are looking for some type of closure. I don't know. But the thing I was talking about with Rizzo and Freeman, why not strike for Freeman? Why not make that your final move? Because that would make sense. And then what you can do is you won't have to worry totally about, is Roy Vet going to hit this year? Because Freeman brings that power. Yes, he strikes out a lot, but he hits for average. He's a good hitter at the age he's at. I believe he's 33 years old or something like that. So what you could do is, okay, we signed Freddie Freeman. Now what we can do is go out, trade for a starter. If we want a catcher, maybe go try for Sean Murphy. Or we could just say, listen, we want a starting pitcher, and that's pretty much it. We'll finish our offseason that way. And I'm trying to speak as most realistic as possible because we know the Yankees are not replacing Aaron Hicks. It's not going to happen this year. They love him too much. But Anthony Rizzo...
contract. Okay. Yep. Anthony Rizzo is in an agreement with the Yankees. Pending a physical, says Jesse Rogers of ESPN. Yep. Alex, what do you say? 3 words. Come on, Alex. You know those 3 words. Don't lose me now, Alex.
Run it back.
Run it back. We should hold on. Let's do this twice together. 1, 2, 3.
Run it back. I mean,
this team is a fucking joke. You had Freddie Freeman on the free agent market, but no, we're pessimistic. Let me just skip to the next point. We're pessimistic because of the geography. Even though CC Sabathia and Garrett Cole were California kids, I believe Freddie Freeman's, I think he lives in Georgia or California or whatever. It doesn't matter. You had him. You had Matt Olson to trade for, but you prospect hug. Nice job, Cashman. You just earned a fucking mediocre offseason.
And he's not getting punished for it.
No.
Because the B media is soft as hell. And you got some fans, they're going to treat it.
What did I say?
No, time out. I'm going to press the timeout button. Then you could go on your rant because this is exactly what I wanted in ways. I wanted to be more powerful that baseball's back in terms of not always ranting every podcast, but more energy. I'm not saying that Anthony Rizzo is a bad option. I'm not saying that. Not at all. But you had Freddie Freeman.
And Matt Olson.
Who's still available. He was down to the Dodgers and the Yankees. But you
think about it. I know what John Heyman was saying, like the Red Sox and Blue Jays were interested, but Blue Jays were more interested in Schwarber than Freeman. The Red Sox were also trying to get back Kyle Schwarber. What are we doing?
I don't understand. What did they take John Heyman as the voice of reason? Or the geography? Shut your mouth. Shut your mouth. I'm not saying that Anthony Rizzo is a horrible option. He was a solid player last year after the deadline. He was my favorite move. Thinking after it.
How does this guy get $16 million a year is my question.
I wonder how much. Do me a favor. As I rant, look up how much he was making on his last contract.
Maybe I'm just being stupid. Maybe he is worth $16 million over 2 years. I don't know. I'm going to check his value right now.
But let me say something. Down to the Dodgers and the Yankees, Freddie Freeman was a better hitter. Someone's coming off of a championship ring. And he boosts your lineup. Anthony Rizzo, he's a good hitter. Solid hitter. He's not Freeman. Freddie Freeman hits for power. He hits for average. But if this is the cherry on top, this is the cherry on top of a shit Sunday of an offseason.
$16 million, $16.5 million. So he's earning less than he was, in the past with the Yankees and the Cubs. He earned $16.5 million. His base salary in the last 2 years was $16.5 million. Before that, it was $11 million, then $7 million, then $5 million, then $1 million. When he was like a rookie almost.
So basically the same rate.
Yeah, pretty much. We had Freeman.
This isn't surprising either.
No, it's not. You could say, "Oh, Luca, why are you so ragey?" And aren't you not surprised? Of course, I'm not surprised because this organization sucks. How am I more hopeful for the fucking Jets who are signing? It's the typical stereotype of the New York Jets. They're always, if there's some light of hope, they're always gonna fuck things up. But how do I have more hope for them right now, trying to build around their quarterback and building up their defense, and the Yankees are doing shit? How? Please, somebody tell me how. Please.
Let's be real. Anthony Rizzo is a lefty bat, but he does not raise your lineup to the power that Freddie Freeman does.
Remember, Alex, we were hitting him first. We hit him first. This idiot manager of ours was hitting him leadoff. Remember? I think it was a wild card game.
I can't say I'm surprised. I'm mad. I can't say I'm surprised. This is you guys. This is all As we're recording this, ain't fucking scripted. It's not like we held out tweets till now. This is live recording, so this is not like a live chat. I'm not trying to make you guys think it's live.
Oh,
as recording this came in. What do you say?
Dan Federico. I thought all offseason Rizzo was going to be back with the Yankees. He has too many fans within the organization.
We made one move. One. You know what I'm banking on? Timeout. You know what I'm banking on? That the Yankees go out there with the rotation they have right now. Sevy's going to be the number 2 star. They're not going to get another starting pitcher. I have lost hope. You want to stick Rizzo back? You know what? You should have. I don't know. Because now this puts less confidence in getting a starting pitcher. But also, Luca, if you remember early in free agency, they wanted to spend on the bullpen, which is one of the only times I will say you need to stick to the young kids. Clark Schmidt, Albert Abreu, Steven Ridings, Clay Holmes. I'm missing a big one, and I don't know which one it is.
Stupid-ass tweets. Anthony Rizzo can still play at a high level. I know Freeman was the goal, but I'll take this.
Who said that?
Bobby Thompson. You know who he's friends with, so you obviously know. Somebody says this was an uphill battle for the Yanks. Rizzo's a very good first baseman. No one can honestly complain that we had 2 choices of such.
Look what the choices were out there. Matt Olson. No, let's fucking prospect hug. Freddie Freeman is a better hitter. But no. We're gonna run it back. You know what? At this point, Yankees don't get a starting pitcher.
Don't get anybody. How about that?
Don't get anybody.
From last season.
It doesn't make sense. It does not make sense for you to go out there and get a starting pitcher if you're seriously going to come back with the same moves. Kiner Falefa, contact hitter, yes. He's an upgrade over Gleyber Torres, even though they just switched him to second, the last 2 weeks of the season. Donaldson, he's not a defensive upgrade. He's slightly offensive upgrade. He doesn't hit for average, though. That pisses me off. That's my standards. But my freaking God. And the problem I have with some Yankee fans, and I'm not acting all high and mighty, we're all fans, we're all rooting for the same team, is that this is going to be the standard. And people are going to be like, oh, well, Anthony Rizzo's back. I know we had... No! They made one move that was outside the organization, and they dropped the ball. At this point, Luca, what are the chances of the Yankees actually trading Luke Voigt, and what are the chances of trading Gleyber Torres? There is no chance. Sorry. I'm not. How? How do you justify this? My Lord, I can't believe this is we're recording this and this breaks.
It's always fun to have this kind of thing break, but you know what? It's not a fun thing because Yankees are settling again. What's the point of bringing Carlos Correa here? Honestly, I want to.
You know what?
Guys
Hold on,
like
time out. I feel so bad for Chris Stacy, NyynewsTV podcast. Obviously, check that, guys. Check that out on Mondays. He put out a tweet that he said, he told us directly. I'm hearing from a guy who's inside the MLB for years, said that the Yankees were the favorite to land for Freeman. What if they were and they said, you know what? I'm not going to take my chance on Freeman. Let's go to Rizzo.
No, the worst part is, I'm going to defend my technically colleague. All these booger-eating geeks out here, like incarcerated Bob, like, oh, my source said that. Shut up, you stupid computer warrior geek booger eater sitting in his mom's house, typing tweets off his freaking...
This man literally got blocked after one tweet.
Yes, I got blocked after the Boys in the Big Apple podcast Twitter is now blocked by incarcerated Bob because I called him a fucking geek. And that's what he is. And he's going to sit here and tell everybody, he's going to try to put everybody in their place and think he's all high and mighty. God, I'm so sick of those people. All these geeks and all these morons out here. He's a cleat chaser.
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, what else is there to say?
Oh, no.
What's no? What's no?
Somebody said Dan Clark Sports, your favorite. It says
Dan Clark?
describe
No, it's the other one. Not Dan Clark's different.
I thought Dan Clark was the guy who wanted you to pay him for being on the podcast. Like anybody. That's the guy.
That might be him. But anyway, go ahead.
He says, describe the Yankees offseason in one word. One of my followers on the Boys in the Big Apple, I think. Does he follow me? Yes. Says, smart. For not overspending on free agents, not getting burned by going over the luxury tax. Are we serious right now? Holy fuck, does this fan base settle for some mediocrity? Oh, fuck. Alex, can you help us?
No,
Alex,
no,
please
because I'm sitting in shit right now.
Alex, please be the voice of reason.
What, how? They had Freddie Freeman. Possible. All they had to do is put in a little extra money. And he might go to the Dodgers. He might go to the Jays.
If he ends up in the AL East, we are.
Let me tell you something right now. I don't know what Max Muncy's situation is right now. I think he's the first baseman over there. Maybe he is, maybe he isn't, whatever. Let's just say that they're suddenly out on a first baseman. Let's just say they're suddenly out for some reason, right? You're looking at Kyle Schwarber and Freddie Freeman in the AL East. And you're fucking telling me that this team has a chance in this division. You're telling me the Yankees have a chance in this division with Kyle Schwarber on one team and Freddie Freeman on another. Are you telling me that there's a chance because there is no chance?
It's just more than that. There's plenty of young talent on the other teams. You got Xander Bogaerts. You got Rafael Devers. You got Lourdes Gurriel. You got Bo Bichette, who destroys the Yankees. You got a better pitching staff in Toronto. All right. Alex is getting to that.
You know what? I was considering this, but I'm not going to do this to the fans. We should have cut to black like The Sopranos.
Oh, yeah. We should have cut to black.
This is ridiculous. Anyway, I think we should.
Alex, you know what? Alex, you know what? Do the entire rest of the podcast in that thing. Okay. I know you. Can
you still hear me, though?
Yes, we can hear you.
So, let's close it out right now. I'm not rage quitting, but the fans have seen enough of our reactions. With that being said, we already discussed how they want to spend on the bullpen. Literally, the only guy I wanted
was Joe Kelly.
And he might have gotten overpaid, whatever the case may be, right? He might have gotten overpaid by the White Sox. But you know what? I would like to see what the Yankees bring in the bullpen. If it's not the kids. Who are they bringing in the bullpen? Because they will bring in some shitty-ass pitcher. Now, it could work because Joely Rodriguez was shit before the Yankees. He was shit before the Yankees. And he turned into a 5-3 pitcher with a sub-4 ERA. Which isn't bad, by the way. And I know all of you geeks out there want to go on FIP and expected ERA and this.
Just remember, Robbie Ray was available at one point. We didn't go.
No. And listen, if you want Robbie Ray, or if you didn't want Robbie Ray, or if you wanted a starting pitcher in general, it just shows you that the Yankees weren't aggressive, that the Yankees weren't looking for that because they want to run it back. Remember, Luca, how Steinbrenner told us last year that the players were the problem. The personnel was the issue and not the management.
He's an absolute failure for an owner. Brian Cashman is an absolute failure for a general manager. Aaron Boone is an absolute failure for a manager. This is absolutely ridiculous. You cannot sit here and go out and defend these moves. But you got Michael Kay out here being Mr. Yankee puppet.
This is ridiculous. I mean, this is ridiculous. And you know what? I'm not going to say any more than this. But Rizzo's going to get hated soon because he's in the Judge Club. He's in the Donaldson Club. I'm not going to reveal. People will get that. I think you should get that because we were discussing it earlier today about Craig Carton and Stefan Bondi, and people will probably get the reference. But he goes into that club. So people are going to hate him off the bat. But that's not technically for the right reason.
You know what, Steve?
What I'm
Somebody brought
ranting,
this- I'm
what
sorry,
I'm
Alex.
ranting.
Somebody
Go
brought
ahead.
this up on Twitter. It's a great point. They said if Anthony Rizzo rakes, because he has a 1 year, after this year, he has an option. If Anthony Rizzo rakes this season, next year he has an option. Next year he can decline his option or whatever. He can opt out of his contract, and they could go earn more money somewhere else.
Let me ask you a question. Why does that make sense if we have nobody in the system who plays first base? Maybe Austin Wells can transition to first base, but he's not ready. He's not ready in the next 2 years. Voit, you going to keep him for 2 years? No. You going to really transition LeMahieu to first base? I mean, ridiculous. You know what? Okay. So, just as a brief thing before we get out of here, because you guys have heard us rant for the past 20 minutes now. Luca, reveal the Seattle trade, please, and how they're a better team than the Yankees.
All right, so they're interested in Chris Bryant, who's a game changer on offense. They also traded for Eugenio Suarez and Jesse Winker. In return came outfielder Jake Fraley to the Reds, right-handed pitcher Justin Dunn, Brandon Williamson, who is the Mariners' number 7 prospect. So the Mariners are doing big doings. Now, they're like the team of the offseason. They sometimes win the offseason, but it never translates to the regular season. We'll see what happens there.
Can I say something right now? Look up Jesse Winker's stats right now. Look up Jesse. Now, I personally don't care about Eugenio Suarez. I don't care about Eugenio Suarez.
Winker. 305, okay. 24 home runs, 71 RBIs, 2.7 WAR.
And how many top prospects? How many top prospects were in that deal?
There was one.
And that was a second round pick in 2019.
It's a number 7.
Seventh. Okay. We discussed before that it would not be, we're going to select the 7th prospect in your system. No, it wouldn't be that. It'd be
Winker
one.
was an all-star this year. He was an all-star in 2021.
It would be one of the top prospects, and that's it. Let's run down the Yankees list. Volpe, Dominguez, Peraza, Gill, Schmidt, Wells, Sweeney, Medina, Waldichuk, and Yendrys Gomez. You're telling me that they wouldn't take Clark Schmidt or Luis Hill in that trade? I mean, seriously here. Like, Jesse Winker was an all-star. And in that situation that you acquire him, I think he's a left fielder or a right fielder, whatever the case may be. Maybe put him in left field, switch Gallo over to center, and Judge in right field. But that's too smart. That's too smart, guys. That is way too fucking smart. Because the Yankees are the Yankees.
And they're running it back. You got to say it once before we end this, Alex.
Yeah. I'm going to end off the show with that, but I first want to get my outro. So, Luca, final thoughts.
The Yankees are an incredibly cheap organization. They never go the extra mile. We obviously outlined the Josh Donaldson trade. That should be a setup move for another big move, but the Yankees aren't going to do that. We just witnessed an absolute disaster. Not that I dislike Anthony Rizzo. Don't think I do that. Don't think I hate Anthony Rizzo, because I don't. Let's be honest. I like Rizzo, but considering the options we had out there to make this a real game changer, I hate this move. Fuck the Yankees. Fuck Aaron Boone. Fuck Brian Cashman. Fuck Hal Steinbrenner.
Be sure to listen to Hola Como Estás Thursday morning, I think 5 a.m. or 6 a.m. But be sure to listen to that. Friday is Chef Talk. I know he'll be ranting on the Yankees, even though he didn't want Freddie Freeman. He'll be ranting on the Yankees because they're making insensible moves. In terms of my final thoughts, it makes no sense to acquire a starting pitcher. It makes no sense to go out there and trade Voit or, what's that guy's name? Gleyber Torres, that guy? Yeah. It makes no sense to trade him either because, well, you're running it back. Might as well just run it back. There's 2 new players on the team. if I'm not mistaken, Luca, there's 2 new players on the team: Donaldson and Connor Falefa.
3 Rorvet.
And Woodvet. So, with that being said, how much did the Yankees actually change? But Luca, personnel, players were the problem. The players were the problem. Anyway, guys, we'll catch you later. And for my final message, run it back.
Run it back, guys.
See ya.
Before it hits the